Breaking news into SportsCenter. Mike Krzyzewski has decided that next season at Duke will be his last. This first reported by Stadium's Jeff Goodman, the all-time winningest coach in men's college basketball history, and one of the only ones with over 1,000 wins. Coach K has won 5 NCAA titles, appeared in 12 Final Fours, and won 15 ACC championships. He also won 3 gold medals at the Summer Olympics. Let's bring in ESPN basketball analyst Jay Bilas, who also played for Coach Krzyzewski. And Jay, I want to get right off the bat from you. What's your reaction to this news?
Well, it's the end of arguably the most successful era in college basketball history. I mean, Mike Krzyzewski has been synonymous with Duke for the last 40 years, and this signals his last year, and it'll be quite a farewell tour through the ACC and the rest of college basketball to essentially celebrate, if not the greatest run in college basketball coaching history, certainly one of them. So it's the end of an amazing career, and Ryan, in my judgment, the toughest act to follow in sports history. There's been, whether it's been Bear Bryant or John Wooden or you name it, none of them had their run on television and the internet age, social media like Coach K has. And I'm not sure that any coach anywhere has been so inextricably linked to one brand, to one team, with that run of success over that length of time as Mike Krzyzewski has had at Duke.
And Jay, I'm sure we'll learn a lot more in the coming maybe hours or days about what went into this decision by Coach K. But I wonder if you look at this and you look at what's happening right now and you ask yourself, why now? I want to get your thoughts on that. Why, after so much greatness, retire at this point, do you think, for Coach K?
Well, first, he's 74 years old, and I think, you know, when I was a player, it was unthinkable to have coaches that would coach this long, and you know, to have Jim Boeheim and Mike Krzyzewski and you know, Roy Williams just retired at 69, 70 years old, whatever it is. It seemed unthinkable years ago, but coaches have gone longer. But it certainly makes sense. I mean, I think everybody knew he was closer to the end of the beginning. But to me, this makes sense in that you know, he wants to go another year and doesn't want to be recruiting, knowing that this will be his last year. So to be able to announce this and to be able to for Duke to be able to name a coach in waiting makes the succession much easier and much cleaner. But this, to me, right now, this announcement today, or the news today, is more about the amazing career of Mike Krzyzewski rather than the next step, and certainly the next step will be discussed ad nauseum as we move forward.
Yeah, and you mentioned, by the way, how tough of an act he will be to follow. Adrian Wojnarowski is reporting that the team is finalizing a search process with school officials to name associate head coach Jon Scheyer as coach in waiting. What do you know about Jon Scheyer, and how tall of a task, again, will it be for him to replace one of the greatest of all time?
Well, for anyone, it would be an unimaginable task to have to step into those incredibly large Hall of Fame shoes. And as I mentioned before, I believe this is going to be the toughest act to follow in sports history, not just college basketball history. But Jon Scheyer was a great player at Duke, won a national championship as captain in 2010. And you know, you look at the numbers he put up as a player, really one of the great players that Duke has ever had, and one of the most accomplished, and has done an excellent job as an assistant and associate head coach under Mike Krzyzewski at Duke. So it's a logical next step for Duke. It's a young man who has made his bones both as a player and as an assistant at Duke, and knows the program backward and forward. So it certainly makes sense, and I think the program will be in very capable hands with Jon Scheyer.
You know, Jay, when we talk about somebody like Coach K, we talk about his impact on the game, on the people who played for him. And now I think a lot of the talk will go to what will his legacy be. But one thing I want to get from you is talk about the impact he has had on those who have played for him, those who have worked for him, those who have been in his orbit for all these decades of sustained greatness at Duke.
Well, just speaking for myself, Ryan, I played for him in the 80s. So he was a very young coach when I played for him. And in fact, my first NCAA tournament game at Duke was his first. So he was building the dynasty then. And for me, as a 57-year-old man, to be able to say that the coach I played for has been at the school I played for all these years was an extraordinary blessing and very, very fortunate for me. He has been the hub of an extraordinarily successful wheel for 40-plus years. And to have all those different successful spokes and all these players, whether you name Grant Hill or Shane Battier, Bobby Hurley, Christian Laettner, Mark Allery, Johnny Dawkins, you name all the great players that have played there, and I'm just naming a precious few there. All of us have looked at Coach K as the North Star as a Duke program. And he's been the most meaningful relationship that all of us have had in basketball and in with Duke. And to all of us, he is Duke. And so it's a profound moment, I think, for all of us. I'm not sure when I played for him if I even contemplated how long he would remain there. He's had opportunities to leave and go into the NBA. I mean, the Lakers at one point offered to make him the highest paid coach in sports history. But he's remained there, and he's inextricably linked with Duke and always will be. So for me, I can't imagine my life without him. I've been extraordinarily grateful to have had him in my life and been such a profound influence on me, both in basketball and outside of it. There have been very few decisions that I've made in my life outside of my family that I've not spoken to him and gained his advice. I think every Duke player that has played for him would echo that.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.